to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Learn Live channel and to today's Health and Social Care WOW broadcast in partnership with the Black Country LEP. Black Country LEP has partnered with health and social care organisations in the Black Country to showcase the exciting opportunities available within this sector. Today's session will be highlighting the variety of health and social care job roles that are available and the roles to get into the industry. If you have a question for one of the speakers today, please leave them in the live chat, which is situated next to the video player. Once you leave your questions, one of our panellists will get back to you as soon as possible. And if you want to find out more about events such as this, please click on the subscribe button just above and you can get the up-to-date information that you need. Now I would like to pass over to Alison, an Enterprise Coordinator for the Black Country Careers Hub and a Professional Careers Advisor, to introduce you to today's event. Over to you, Alison.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Health and Social Care World of Work Week. I'm Alison Danks, an Enterprise Coordinator for the Black Country Careers Hub and also a Professional Careers Advisor. I believe that this event will give you a great opportunity to hear from people who work within health and social care. You will be able to hear from a variety of speakers today, including doctors, nurses, dentists, social workers, for example, and they will give you an insight into their working lives. This ideal opportunity may help you to consider whether working within this sector is something that you may want to investigate further. There are over 350 job roles within health and social care, and you could be working in places like hospitals, schools, prisons, community centres, or even within the armed forces. You'll need to have a variety of skills, including good communication and people skills, along with care and compassion and good numeracy and literacy. During the event, we will also be covering how to study and train for health and social care careers. We will cover apprenticeship training and qualifications and courses that are suitable for health and social care roles. I trust that you will find this information inspiring as you make your choice as to whether this may be a suitable careers pathway for you.
Thanks for the lift, guys.
Welcome to the WOW Show. I bet you think the NHS is all about doctors, nurses, and hospitals, right? Wrong. There's an army of skillful and dedicated practitioners who play a vital role across our health service. They're called Allied Health Professionals, or AHPs for short. There's over 150,000 of them, working in hospitals, patients' homes, clinic, surgeries, and schools. They're helping change millions of lives for the better. There are 14 different allied health professions. You could be a music therapist, or an art therapist. You could choose to be a drama therapist, or not to be. That is the question. Or how about a dietitian? There's occupational therapists, operating department practitioners, osteopaths, orthoptists. There are paramedics, podiatrists, prosthetists and orthotists, radiographers,
speech and language therapist.
and let's not forget physiotherapists, like me. So, as an allied health professional, you could be working in any one of a huge range of fantastic roles. Later in the show, we'll find out a lot more about these exciting professions. And with the help of a panel of experts, we'll be able to answer some of your questions. But first up, what have Harry Kane, Darcy Bussell, and Mo Farah got in common? Yep, they all have famous feet. But what about our own feet? We often take them for granted, until there's a problem. And that's when we need a podiatrist.
I'm a Great Britain age grouper in triathlon, a silver and bronze European medalist over sprint and Olympic distance. It puts a lot of strain on the body, especially the feet.
Well, as a podiatrist that's very much specialised in the sports injury, I see a lot of runners, Premier League footballers, golfers, cricket players, triathletes.
Because of the orthotics, I'm running better, like I'm not having weaknesses or injuries like I was, so I'm getting stronger and faster.
Podiatrist is a specialist in all things to do with the foot, whether that's the circulation, the joints and muscles of the feet. The feet are an amazing piece of your anatomy that, if they're not functioning right, can really affect your quality of life. As a podiatrist, you can work in a hospital setting, out in community clinics, or even visiting patients at home, or like myself, set up a sports injury clinic. So I would assess a patient and decide what they needed. I might need to use my prescribing qualifications, some nail surgery to help them. It could be orthotic therapy, where we prescribe insoles to help people's feet. because I specialise using a gait scan pressure plate system, diabetics and your high-risk patients that are struggling to get the right orthotic prescription want to come and see me to see if we can offload pressures that are causing them problems with their feet. So the last few years I've definitely started to use social media more. A lot of new patients have found me through social media just by sharing what I do in clinic. I'm a runner myself, so I tend to share things in terms of injury prevention and management. Definitely social media now has become part of my job in terms of encouraging people to see what podiatrists do. Every day is completely different. The patients that I see are completely different. The sports patients are perfect for me because they'll come in very frustrated or down because they're injured. And as a podiatrist, I feel like I definitely make a contribution to fixing them and getting them back doing what they love.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I was miles away there. Yep, music, along with art and drama, can affect us deeply, and all three of these are used by professional therapists to improve people's emotional health and well-being. Check this out. Music therapists use music to help their patients open up and express their emotions through sounds. Music helps develop communication, confidence, and self-awareness. Music therapists build relationships without using words, allowing anyone to access it. It isn't about teaching clients to actually sing or play an instrument. It's about communicating through improvised music with real instruments and the voice. For anyone affected by a learning disability, mental health issue, or physical illness, or finding it difficult to express emotions, working with music therapists can literally be life-changing. Art therapy uses creative and psychological techniques to help people who have experienced distressing or traumatic life events or live with life-limiting conditions. Art therapists need a degree or experience in art and use a range of creative techniques, but clients don't need to be good at art. Art therapists work alongside their clients to explore the meaning of their artworks and to support self-awareness and resilience. Drama therapists, too, thrive on helping others with their feelings. They use improvisation, movement, and storytelling to engage with their clients. This provides a safe environment to help people communicate difficult feelings. For some people, acting out their experiences is much easier than directly talking about it. As a drama therapist, you work with clients who have a broad range of difficulties, such as psychological and mental health issues, physical and learning disabilities.
Hi, I'm Anne, and I'm here to see the radiography team today. All I know is that they use x-rays, so let's go and find out more. So what are you doing here?
Today we've just done a chest x-ray of this patient.
So can you tell me what I can see here?
These are her 2 lungs, and this is the patient's heart. This is air in her stomach. If there's something wrong, usually we'd write a red dot, and then we'd call up the doctors to let them know.
Perfect, so we're going to do a scan of your chest today.
So Tom, you're a diagnostic radiographer. What does that mean?
So our job is to create images of patients with potentially illnesses or serious life-threatening conditions.
So you've got loads of cool equipment here. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
So this is a CT scanner. It uses x-rays to create 3D pictures of patients. We also use x-rays, magnets, as well as ultrasound.
What surprised you the most about your role?
I was not aware that we had to go to theatre as part of our job to help out with broken bones and things like this.
Thank you, Tom. So now I'm going to see the therapeutic radiography team.
Enjoy, bye.
I was with the diagnostic radiographers. You're a therapeutic radiographer. What's the difference?
So diagnostic radiographer is more about the imaging of patients, and a therapeutic radiographer is the treatment mainly of cancer patients, and we use high energy x-rays to deliver that treatment.
So you can use radiotherapy to treat cancer. Can you tell me how that works?
It's high energy radiation, so it can penetrate the skin. Radiation that we give is absorbed by the body. The normal cells have the ability to repair from the damage, whereas cancer cells don't have the ability to repair from that damage.
We're really lucky in this department to have proton therapy opening in 2020, but also the Christie's in Manchester have it, and they're already up and running.
So I've learned so much today. I didn't realise there were 2 different radiographer roles and how varied they both are.
Want to know what it's like being a student AHP? Let's meet some of them.
You don't have to have all A stars to get to where you want to be. If you want to be an allied health professional, find whatever it is you're strong at and whatever you feel the most passionate about and go with that.
Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. I got told in school that I'd never go to university and that I was making things difficult for myself applying for physiotherapy. Although I didn't do that as my first degree, I've achieved it eventually.
I would just look into different opportunities. There are apprenticeships, there are university courses. There's something for everyone who wants to get into an allied health profession.
You can be the difference between good care and bad care and the way that the patient receives that experience.
And you still sort of got that feeling sort of like in your chest that, like, you know, I've done something to help someone. I'm part of something good.
Break your arm playing rugby like I did, or go down with the flu? People can clearly see there's something wrong. But mental health, that's not always so obvious. It can affect the way you feel and the way you behave. That's where occupational therapists like Usman Ali come in, helping people to live the best lives they can.
Jason is an individual that I've worked with who has experienced anxiety. He was avoiding going outdoors, avoiding any kind of interactions with people who he didn't know. So looked at what he thought his barriers were to engaging, and then we set what we call SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time goals. How are you feeling about going into the shop?
Yeah, not too bad.
So we started very simple, which was getting out to the front door, and then we've built on that to getting into the local shops to then be able to go into the local shopping centre independently, which is what our end goal is with Jason.
Cheers, pal. Thank you very much.
Occupational therapy is a profession in which we focus on activities and occupation as a means of enabling people to promote their independence and improve their quality of life. We can work in a range of different clinical areas. So at the minute I work in the community mental health team. People often assume occupations are jobs, but for an occupational therapist, the occupation is about the activity. So that can be broken down into 3 different areas. Self-care, that can include washing and dressing on a morning. Productivity, work would come into the productivity as well, and then leisure as well. So what do they enjoy doing? What I enjoy most about my job is working with the people. Obviously we've got the stool, we've measured it to make sure it's the right height. How has that helped you? Or
It's a gem. I never thought I'd need one, but I do. It's independence. It's all mind over matter as well.
It's fun. It's really meaningful when you support someone to achieve their goals and increase their independence and their quality of life.
Well, I call him Superman. I know I'm nowhere near that as confident as I was, but I'm on my way, and that's thanks to Usman.
Do you have great interpersonal skills, patience and dedication? If so, physiotherapy might just be for you. As a physiotherapist, you'll treat people with physical and mental health problems caused by illness, injury, disability or ageing. You'll be assessing patients' problems and coming up with the right kind of treatment or programme to suit their needs. As well as treating patients with things like exercise or hands-on therapies, you'll be helping get them back to living the life they want to. Osteopaths are hands-on, regularly using a wide range of techniques that focus on releasing tension, stretching and massage to relieve pain, aid blood flow and help the body's own healing mechanisms. Osteopaths take a holistic approach. It's based on the principle that a patient's health depends on everything: the skeleton, muscles, ligaments and tissues, all functioning smoothly together. It's possible that you've never even heard of prosthetics and orthotics, but as well as being a pretty good tongue twister, this area makes for a really interesting career. Prosthetists design and fit artificial replacements for people who have lost or were born without limbs. This, of course, gives freedom and independence, enabling people to work, live and play. Orthotists will treat people of all ages with a physical problem. They assess how you move, diagnose mechanical problems, and prescribe, measure, and then customise a brace to fit your body. These orthoses are used to support the spine or limbs, to relieve pain and assist movement. Training as a prosthetist or orthotist will provide you with the skills to make a lifelong difference to people's lives. You'll learn about linking anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, and even engineering. And you'll find out the huge impact that these amazing appliances can have on a person's life.
Some people are obsessed with food. Apart from giving us pretty pictures, food is vital for our health. But it can be confusing. There's a lot of information out there about what is and isn't good for us. Dietitians understand the science behind what we eat, and they use this to help people make the right choices for their health.
As a teenage and young adult dietitian, I've set up these cookery classes called Eat It Better. We chat about what a balanced diet is and how to achieve that. And then we all learn to cook a couple of dishes together. It seems to have worked really well. Dietitians are qualified health professionals who work with individuals to improve their diet. We play a huge role in prevention, making sure people are following the right diet because that can prevent chronic diseases like heart disease or diabetes. I'm a haematology dietitian, and that means that I work with people who've been diagnosed with blood cancer. I'm just going to go through a few things about your diet.
Monica's been there from the very beginning, and she's helped me to not only regulate my diet and gain weight, but she's also helped me with managing my side effects. Monica gives me advice and printouts of different food groups. I create like plans for the week of things that I would eat.
When someone's on the ward, they quite often lose their appetite or they feel sick. But the thing is, it's so important to keep eating because without the food, you're not going to be able to get better, essentially. So it's trying to work with people to figure out ways where they can eat more. Sometimes we use special nutritional supplement drinks, which have extra vitamins and minerals in. I think what I really like about this job is it's so varied. I work with the media, I've put together different things for journalists or worked on a couple of programs. I work with different charities, so I've written some diet information for them. So it just really keeps you on your toes. I don't think I could ever have done a desk job. You're always moving around and you're interacting, so the days fly by and I don't think I'm ever bored. It's such a great job. You can go home every day and you feel like you've actually made a difference to people's lives.
Believe it or not, 2.5 million people in the UK suffer from speech or language difficulties. This can lead to feelings of isolation and educational problems, but with the right help, these issues can be overcome. And that's where speech and language therapists come in. They work with children whose speech is slow to develop, people with a stammer, or the elderly whose ability to speak may be impaired by illness. Speech therapists work in hospitals, community clinics, and patients' homes. If you have excellent communication skills and enjoy helping others, this could be the ideal job for you. Working as a paramedic is not all blue flashing lights and high-speed driving, but it's still a pretty exciting career choice. Paramedics are medical professionals who specialise in emergency response. They have to make quick decisions that can literally mean the difference between life and death. Modern paramedics can be found in a variety of different roles and places, such as GP surgeries, sporting events, or working for search and rescue. You're forgiven if you've never heard of an orthoptist before. Orthoptists diagnose and treat people with issues that affect eye movement and visual development. These can be caused by problems with brain development or brain control of the eyes. Orthoptists help the eyes work together again as a pair. As an orthoptist, you'll usually be part of the hospital eye team, but may work on the wards, in community healthcare, or in schools. But wherever you work, you'll make a real difference to people's lives.
Imagine what it's like to have an operation. Scary, right? Well, help is at hand. There are these amazing people called operating department practitioners, or ODPs for short. They're with the patient before, during, and after their operation. They're experts in what goes on in the operating theatre and a friendly face.
The ODPs are a key member of the team. You need to be able to react to difficult situations, have a really close eye on the patient, who is the #1 priority.
My main aim is to provide patient safety and welfare.
On a normal working day, I'm based as an aesthetic ODP, so I'll be working most of the time with nurses and anaesthetists, but you could work in accident and emergency, intensive care unit, surgery and recovery. Normally a patient comes in really shy, scared at the same time, so we talk about their favorite subjects at school, favorite food they're gonna have, just to distract them. I want them to feel comfortable. When the patient's asleep, we go straight in the theatre, transfer the patient into the operating table and perform the procedure. I need to assist the anaesthetist and basically maintain patient safety. But if you're an ODP on the scrub side, you'll be assisting the surgeon, so you'll be more past instruments to the surgeon. They have to count the instrument to make sure that there's no instrument left inside the patient. As an ODP, I think you have to be compassionate, hardworking, dedicated, respectful, and able to work in multidisciplinary team. The best bit of my job is knowing that the patient are all fine and okay by the end of the procedure.
It was nice because before he was distracting me when they were putting needles in my hand. I knew who he was afterwards when I was really tired, which was nice.
ODP job is very rewarding. Being appreciated by my team members, the parents and the patient themselves is very fulfilling.
So, as we've seen, there are a lot of different careers, no matter what your ambition or your aspirations. I'm sure you've got a lot of questions now too. We're linked up with Richmond Park Academy in South West London. Hi there. Give us a wave, guys. And also Unity City Academy in Middlesbrough. Hey everyone. But anyone can ask a question. Just drop us an email or give us a tweet. In the studio, we've got our panel of experts. We've got the lovely Marie-Claire, we've got Michelle, and we've got James. So, first up, we're heading to Unity City Academy in Middlesbrough.
Are there any available jobs in the sector?
Okay. Marie-Claire, do you want to take that one?
Sorry, I missed the first part of it.
Are there many available jobs in the sectors for AHPs at the moment?
There's a world of opportunity out there with occupational therapy through to podiatry through to drama therapy. You've just got to go and knock on the doors and find out.
Awesome. I hope that answers your question. We're going to head over now. We're going to go to Richmond Park Academy in London.
I'm a bit squeamish about hospitals and injuries. Does that matter?
All right, good question. Michelle, what do you think?
No, it doesn't. And there's such a range of different roles within the AHP profession that you may be working out in the community, you may be working in a GP surgery where you don't see anything squeamish at all. There is the flip side of that where, yes, you might be working as perhaps a diagnostic radiographer in accident emergency and you do see some things that are a little bit gory, but then you get to train and learn on the job and get used to that if it's a problem for you. But again, as I said, if you are squeamish, there's lots of work out there within AHPs where you don't ever come into contact with anything that would perhaps be a little bit uncomfortable.
All right, great answer. Thank you very much. Now we're going to come over for our next question.
How can you get in the healthcare profession with good skills but not the right qualifications?
Okay, great question. I think, James, you're probably going to answer that for us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great question. I think there's a whole range of different options that are available to you. You can start by looking at access courses that would get you into a university degree programme. You can look at apprenticeship models, and that works all the way through from a support worker level role at sort of at the very early stage of developing your career, all the way through to a graduate role at sort of a graduation point for degree level training, and then all the way through there as well through to master's level and doctoral level training as well. So there's lots of different entry points along that system that you could use.
Awesome. Marie-Claire, anything you'd like to add on that one?
Yes, absolutely. I started my life just as a voluntary physiotherapy assistant in the local hospital. I went and knocked on some doors. From that job, I then got offered a permanent post as what was then an assistant, which is now an associate. And these support worker roles are so important, and they're throughout all of the AHP or allied health professions. And then from that, I decided after 2 years that although I had no formal qualifications and I had no A-levels, I thought, this is really the career for me. I'm absolutely passionate about it. So I took myself off and I went and did an access course, which was hard, but I got into university and I graduated, and 10 years later I went on and did a master's, and now I find myself clinically working as well as working in a fellowship with Health Education England. There are such vast opportunities out there for allied health professionals to not just be a clinician, but also for the support workers. They are equally as important to each of those allied health professions, and they play a vital role. And then they have lots of different names. So rehab assistants, support workers, technical rehab assistants. There's lots of different things out there. So don't let anyone stop you.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story, Marie-Claire. And I hope that answers your question. Let's take another question now.
How much can I earn as an AHP?
Okay, that's a great question. I want to know the answer to this. James, Michelle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's worth looking at the breadth of opportunities that exist there. So if you go into an NHS role, the likelihood is you'll probably start on if you go in at a graduate level at a band 5 salary, that'll be something in the region of £19,000 to £20,000 per year, and then you'll work up through the grading system as your experience and your qualifications develop. If you work in the private sector, it's really based on how much you're willing to work. I mean, if you look in podiatry as an example, private podiatrists are earning between £50,000 £60,000 per year, some even more than that, and those that own their own private clinics can earn in the hundreds of thousands. So it really depends what your motivation is and what sector you want to work in. I suppose the really key message though is as we move forward as a sector, it's really important that we get people working in all parts of the sector. So it's probably worth thinking about a portfolio career in that sense, that you take on some NHS work and you do some work that really helps develop your clinical practice and develop in that area, but then you also do some private work as well, and mix that up with, as the guys have said, research, educational work in the commercials industry. There's so much opportunity there that you can really go in lots of different directions.
Awesome. So there's a really wide variety of ways we can get involved. So I hope that answers your question. I think now we're going to head to Richmond Park and get another question from you guys. Oh, Unity City. Hey guys.
What voluntary work would be good if I was interested in health and social care?
Okay, great question again. Michelle, do you want to get that one?
Yeah, sure. So I would recommend that you reach out somewhere that's local to you where they're caring for patients. So you could look at nursing homes, you could attend open events that you see at your local hospital clinics, community areas, perhaps reach out to charities, anything where you're connecting with people, learning how to talk to people, build confidence and skills and wanting to care for people. So as well as reaching out to local hospitals, because there are voluntary opportunities there in cafes or, as I said, with charitable organisations within those hospitals. So if anyone tells you you can't get voluntary work, then don't take no for an answer and just get out there and knock on doors.
Great. That's a really, really good answer. I think as long as you've got that motivation and determination, you'll find the right place. All right, let's take another question now from Richmond Park.
Is it possible to get work experience as an allied health professional?
Sure. How about Marie-Claire? What do you think?
Yes, and again, it's really important that you talk to clinicians, you go and meet the local departments, and don't forget it's not just in the hospitals. You can do these in care homes, you can do these in nursing homes, you can do these in specialist school settings. Everywhere you look around, your environment is somewhere where someone cares for someone. So my key piece of advice would be, don't let anyone stop you.
Great, fantastic. We're going to take a question that's come in on the email now from Sue in Manchester, and I think, Michelle, this is going to be a good one for you. Sue asks, what qualities do you need for a career as an AHP?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's really important to want to work with people, whether that's the patients and the families you're looking after, or your team colleagues, because we work with all other, as a therapeutic radiographer, I work with other allied health professionals and doctors, nurses, support workers, porters, etc. in the hospital environment or clinics. Other qualities, it's about being conscientious. So even if you're unsure in the early days of your school studies or when you go on to train, it's about really just being committed to your work. And I have no doubt that if you're interested in healthcare, you'll do that. It's being resilient as well, and you've got to balance the about 50-50 split of working out training in a hospital and also being in the university environment. But the important thing to remember is it's huge fun out there. There's lots of things to learn and it's hugely rewarding. So I don't think you'd have any doubts about how motivated you want to be once you get onto the training courses. So yeah, that's kind of a summary of the skills. And also remember there's lots of transferable skills. I never expected to get involved in business studies or service management, but it's a way where my career took me. I worked in an academic setting within a university teaching young people and mature students. So look out for the resources as well. There's the Healthcare Careers website and also the I See the Difference website. All our professional bodies who lead what we do in our areas of practice have lots of information, so reach out to those two and do your research to find out what you want to do.
Brilliant. Thanks for that information, Michelle. We're going to take another question now from Unity City Academy in Middlesbrough.
What's one of the hardest things you've ever done in your career?
Oh, good question. James, what do you reckon?
Hardest thing, I suppose, dealing. Sometimes it's the peaks and troughs of clinical activity. I think sometimes you get involved in very intense periods of clinical activity, and you could be in a high risk lower limb clinic where you're seeing several patients one after the other, and they all have complex needs and a range of different medical conditions, and you can contrast that with working in a sporting environment. If you look at podiatrists and physiotherapists and others that work as part of medical teams for London Marathon, for instance, there's the great influx of runners and different points in the run. That can be really challenging to try and deal with all these different people all at the same time. But we all, I think, have reflected back on the rewarding nature of all of this activity that we engage in. It's such a wonderful place to be part of this AHP world, and for anybody that's thinking about it, the difficulty that you face is completely offset and overwhelmed by the benefit that you get back out of it. So it's really worth thinking about.
Awesome. Marie-Claire, I think you've got something to add in there, have you?
Yeah, I think there's also something around, for me, one of the hardest things was the boundaries that sometimes the system provides us, and actually working with my allied health professional colleagues and working in multidisciplinary teams and trying to break down those boundaries to make sure that patients are at the centre of our care is probably one of my hardest things, and also the amount of paperwork, particularly in the NHS.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer. And thank you very much for that question. But I'm sorry, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you to everyone who has asked a question so far. The panel will be online for the next hour or so, so keep those questions coming and we'll do our best to answer them all. And teachers in the back, remember, we've got lesson plans and resource packs and progression packs, which you can find on our website, thewowshow.org. But for now, thank you very much, everyone. For everyone who took part, goodbye.
Thank you to Alison and The Wow Show for an amazing careers show special that they have shared with us today. Now, if you have any further questions for The Wow Show or Alison, you can leave them in the live chat next to the video player. The teams will get back to you as soon as possible. However, if there are any questions for a particular company that you would like to ask that you're hearing from today, please click onto the username and that will lead to their partner page as well. Now, we will be hearing from people who work within this incredible sector, starting with Angela from Sandwell Government. Over to you, Angela.
Hello, I'm Angela Measham. I'm a social worker and an area manager, and I work for Sandwell Adult Social Care. Adult social care is about support that we provide to adults who need some extra help and support to help them live their lives. The support's provided in various ways. Our team support people around Sandwell, and there's various jobs that you can do in adult social care that help people. They don't have to be just as a social worker. There are jobs in admin and finance, and Sandwell Council's a huge employer, so there are lots of different jobs. If you don't want to train to be a social worker, but you still want to work in adult social care, there's lots of different jobs and care jobs that you can do, and training is available. You can also get paid to do your job, and information can be found at Adult Social Care on the Sandwell Council website. I work as a social worker, and the duties of our job are every day we try and help people to solve and cope with their problems in everyday life. Sometimes the difficulties are caused by ageing or by physical or mental health, and they need help to manage their daily tasks. We complete an assessment with the person, and we try to make people be as independent as they can and work towards improving their well-being through advice, information, arranging carers to help them be involved in their local communities and to undertake normal activities like we do. We work with individuals to help them overcome the inequalities and boundaries within society so that they can access the local communities and do the same as able-bodied people can. We support their carers. Again, we can offer assessments and we can see what support there is to help them. We safeguard people who are at risk of being abused or are being abused, and we help them to resolve the situation how they want to. We have hospital social workers, and they help patients to be safely discharged from hospital and to help them to recover from their illness and regain their skills. And we have social workers who work with people who've got diagnosed mental health problems, and they help those people to really feel a safer, live a safer and more fulfilling life. So when I look for potential recruits, social workers need to be qualified with a degree in social work, or if you have a degree in another subject, they can complete a master's in social work. We do have some unqualified roles called a social care officer who provide a similar role but less complicated cases and don't have to complete some of the legal duties that only a social worker can complete. We have apprenticeship courses to help the social care officers become qualified workers within Sandwell. So there's lots of opportunities. When there's an interview, I look for people who can communicate clearly, both through what they say and what they write, because we spend a lot of time talking to individuals, families and carers and their professionals, and we need to record the information accurately and write it in reports. I consider how the applicant presents in the interview. Can they answer the questions correctly? Can they stay calm, or do they become flustered? Workers need experience of working with different customer groups so that you get some practical experience. That would really help if you've been a carer, either formally or informally, because it just builds up your confidence around talking to different people and communicating. We want people who are empathetic and sensitive to people's needs, and you need to have a wish to help others. Need to be tenacious as well, not to be fobbed off, to be curious and good at gathering information both verbally and physically, and to be alert to things that just don't seem right. You need to have a sense of humour in this job and to be able to cope with pressure and to be able to support others when they're in crisis. It's a really rewarding job when you know you've helped someone to achieve what they want and you've helped them to have their situation to be better or safer, and you've improved their well-being. To become a social worker, you need to get a relevant degree. You need to get 5 GCSEs with maths and English and a science, and at least 2 A-levels. There's no specific A-level subjects required, but relevant ones would include things like psychology, sociology, and law and English. A level 3 vocational qualification in health and social care would help with as a foundation towards this work. When you work for the council, we have a lot of in-house training. We use external trainers to update us on changes in social care and to provide refreshers on legislation and to ensure we're compliant and up to date on current topics and approaches to ensure we're effective social workers. We use webinars and linking with universities to access further training opportunities. And we also have our own in-house trainers who support us. Within Sandwell, the local council is one of the largest employers, so there's lots of other opportunities. As a social worker, you can remain as a general social worker on an adults team, or you can try different specialisms like hospital work, younger adults teams. You can progress on to be a practice educator and support student social workers to become more experienced and qualified. You can take on supervisory roles and go into management and leadership of your teams. You can work as best interest assessors and work with people to assess their mental capacity and make decisions about their care needs and future support. So there are roles within adult social care that support the social workers, and you might like to try these roles, such as commissioning and developing good care arrangements with all care organisations, or inspecting care homes and the quality of care agencies to ensure they're safe and they're looking after people. It's a really rewarding job. We come into this and we want to help people, and you get a real buzz when you do help people and when their situation turns out well for them.
It's all about empowering each other and working together.
I always wanted to work in a career where I was supporting people, improving lives of individuals.
It's not about how long you live your life, it's about how you live your life.
I wanted to undertake the course to become a social worker because I believe in supporting and uplifting people in society who may be vulnerable or at risk.
I wanted to personally apply for it was so that we could go that extra mile and we could see everything from start to finish through till the end.
I would like to encourage other people to apply for the apprenticeship in the upcoming year, because I think it is a good opportunity to learn and earn at the same time.
I feel we all need to work together to improve living standards of people, support each other, support vulnerable people, and the pandemic, I think, has been vital for us to kind of evidence this. There are vulnerable people in our community.
So when you finish your uni, you don't just like jump into work, and so you're still being assessed. It's like another year for you to learn while you're still working. So it gives you that time to still reflect.
It's a wonderful opportunity to enable you to build up on your skills and your qualifications. It is all worth it in the end, and sometimes, some weeks I do find it difficult, but then some weeks I do get such appreciation, and it's really good to share other stories and to put your learning into practice. I feel like I've established something as well in my learning, because I'm learning from other people that I'm supporting, so I'm learning all the time and reflecting on my work and my learning skills.
I started the Practice Educator program during the current lockdown. I see this especially important in the current circumstances. I see this as a golden opportunity for more innovative and perhaps creative ways of working within a social work practice, which I think going to be embedded and have a potential to stay with us for the years to come. I have seen how quick we had to shape our response and adapt the new creative ways of working, because the people that we support have never needed us more. I've been truly inspired how well and quickly we managed to continue to work effectively in such a high challenging circumstances. And I know that we can meet any future challenges, whatever that may be.
Definitely a very rewarding job.
I would say fulfilling.
I'll probably say togetherness.
Social work is ensuring everyone is safe and well.
Social work is about making a change.
I'm a hospital doctor and I work on a neuro rehab ward which caters for people who have sustained a traumatic brain injury or stroke or other neurological conditions. I think first and foremost what I really find rewarding and what spurs me on and helps me every day is that I am, even though it might be in a small way and as part of a team, helping people get through very difficult aspects of their lives. I went to primary school in Sudan and also went to high school there as well. We were encouraged to use the library, we were encouraged to go on trips outside the school, and it was during that period that I gained the love of certain special disciplines, in particular the science ones. My favorite subject at school was biology. It was just the fascination of how the living body works, whether it's that of a human being or an animal, was very fascinating. Most of my primary school and the majority of my high school had lots of happy moments, and I made a lot of friends and met a lot of people from all over the world, which I think sort of helped me later on in life to understand that people are different and can look at things differently. I come from a family of people who trained in organic chemistry, and I think there was this family tradition and expectation that I would join organic chemistry. However, I wasn't too thrilled with the smells. Little did I know that later on in life, when I worked in medicine, that I'll come across smells as well, albeit that this time they were of a different origin and they didn't come out of test tubes, but actually from living people. I originally studied medicine abroad in Bulgaria. Then I moved to Sudan, where I worked for 2 years, and that was an incredible experience. The resources are quite limited, so one really had to improvise and think well beyond what one has learned in textbooks, how to manage even everyday conditions. Sadly, it has some sad moments for me as well, and in particular one of the main turning points was in regards to whether I was to continue in pediatrics or not. I had the occasion where a mother brought her child in, and sadly it was very late for us to be able to help. It was one of the most obvious moments of when one comes face to death quite suddenly. Unfortunately, as a result, I didn't think I would have the emotional energy to continue in pediatrics, but as a result, that turning point led me to the current field in which I am and which I enjoy. I came to the UK to further my postgraduate studies, and in the process I got clinical attachment, and from that clinical attachment I got registered as a medical professional within the UK, which gave me the opportunity to work here. When I came to the UK, I came with my mother and my brother, which made it a wonderful experience. However, when the time came for them to go back, it was heart-wrenching, and I did actually have to take my mum's advice and repeat it in my head times and times again, that no matter how hard it is, one just needs to keep on going, and that eventually, yes, one would see the light at the end of the tunnel, or a door will open. I was working originally in care of the elderly, and that is a very fascinating field. I actually thought that I was applying for a care of the elderly job, and the night before my interview, my consultant pointed out that I've actually applied for rehabilitation medicine. So overnight I was sort of scouring the books and the internet to try and find a little bit more. I'm very pleased that despite this last minute revelation that I was successful in my job, the ability to help people who are actually very severely physically and sometimes cognitively impaired. It is very rewarding at the end, even if it is a few years down the line, to see the progress that they've made. I have been told that I'm good, and pretty good, well, very good in certain fields, but I find that a little bit overpowering, and it sort of puts the pressure on me to work even harder and be even better, because I think there is always scope and place to improve.
Hi everyone, I hope everybody's keeping safe during these really difficult times. I'm Grace and I'm a student social worker with Frontline and I'm currently in my first year, which I'm really enjoying. I'm here just to talk a little bit about my journey so far into social work and a little bit about the profession. So Frontline, they recruit, train and support people to become social workers. The social work profession aims to help improve people's lives. It's a very varied profession in the sense that there are so many different types of social workers and roles. There are social workers for children, for adults, for those with additional needs, for example, and the list just goes on. I'm currently learning the role of a children's social worker, which I really enjoy. So I sit within a team called Care Management at Sandwell Children's Trust, where I work with children who are likely to be at risk of significant harm, as well as those children who are in need. So I work with families who are on child protection plans, as well as those who are on child in need. So it's about understanding that different families will need different levels of support and intervention. So a child in need plan can be regarded as a less intensive plan, which offer a number of services to a family that is beyond what every child would receive. So this falls under section 17 of the Children Act 1989, for example. We then have child protection plans, which are higher than child in need, which fall under section 47. And this plan would be for children who are suffering or are likely to suffer significant harm. One of the main differences between these plans are that child in need works on more of a voluntary basis, whereas child protection is not. Part of the role is to work with families to support and empower them to make changes. It's also about being child focused and recognising their needs and what they need to change for them. You'll hold meetings with other professionals, the family, you'll go out on visits. This might be to their home or places like school or nursery. And you'll start to build relationships with them and get to hear their voices and what things they need to change and what they worry about, what they're happy about, and just getting to know them as a person. The way that you work with families will vary from family to family and from person to person. And sometimes, and when I say sometimes, a lot of the time, it's about being creative in how you do this, which I think is one of the good parts of the job. When I was at school, I didn't really know what it was that I wanted to do. I just kind of knew that I wanted to work in a supporting profession. I then went to university and completed my degree in working with children, young people and families, and it was then that I studied a module called Looked After Children, which focused on the care system and social work, which I thoroughly enjoyed and decided that it would be an area I would like to go into. After studying uni and getting my degree, I got a job in a children's residential care home, which I really, really enjoyed. Which allowed me to hear the voices of some young people who become looked after and their experience of the care system and social workers. This was a really insightful experience which provided me with an understanding of what people need from their social workers, what they appreciate, what they don't, what's important, what they like, what they don't, etc. I then applied for Frontline, and if I'm being really honest, it was something I came across when searching for ways to become a social worker, and so it wasn't until I'd gone looking that I'd known about them. I had several interviews and an assessment. Mine was done virtual because of COVID. However, I know that in previous years and some students who had theirs earlier, it was down in London. I found out that I got accepted and that I would be placed in Sandwell Children's Trust from September, and I was really, really excited. It's a 2-year programme which starts with something called a Summer Institute. So this is a 5-week training programme running from mid-July to mid-August, which equips you with the knowledge and skills of good social work practice. Some of the things that you'll look at will be things like values and ethics, the profession, social justice, trauma, help approaches which are evidence-based. You'll look at legislations and a number of other things which I would direct you to look at Frontline's website, as that is all on there. It's usually a residential experience where you'll stay in a university for the full 5 weeks, which I believe was in Warwick University, but due to COVID it was delivered virtually this year, and I'm unsure how it's going to be delivered the coming year. So in year 1, you'll be placed within your local authority as a unit. So the unit consists of you and around 3 or 4 other students, and you're all led by an experienced social worker. So during this time, you'll work on cases which are held by the experienced social worker, and you'll have opportunities to gain some really useful practical experience. You'll also have ongoing assessments. So for example, one of the evidence-based approaches you'll look at is systemic practice, and you'll have a presentation and an essay on this, which you can use on the cases that you work. So you'll express that you've demonstrated systemic practice and how you've used it and how it's gone. You'll also have a practice tutor who works alongside you and alongside your experience with your local authority. Your practice tutor works for Frontline and will help you to understand the academic side of the work. So they'll help you to understand the assessments, what's expected. You'll have recall days every 2 weeks, which is a day of teaching from Frontline, which has been virtual. You'll also have a 30-day learning experience within an adult social care setting. It's also worth mentioning that you work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5:30, and that you get paid a bursary by Frontline monthly. If you pass year 1, you can then register with Social Work England, and then you progress to year 2. So in year 2, this is when you'll work as a newly qualified social worker for the local authority you worked in. This is then where you'll be given your own caseload, and you'll continue to work towards your Masters in Social Work. You will be continually supported by your Frontline mentor and the local authority. And instead of being paid your bursary from Frontline, you'll be paid by your local authority as a newly qualified social worker. So in order to apply for a Frontline, you need to have at least a grade C in GCSE and English and language and maths, or an equivalent to a GCSE. I know obviously that's changed now, it's numerical, so it would be equivalent. You also need at least a 2-1 in an undergraduate honours degree or an international qualification. There are some exceptions, which you can find online. All of this information is online, which I urge you to look at if it is something that you'd like to look into. But other sort of entry requirements include the right to work in the UK. But yeah, please take a look at those for more information. So applications, they open in the month of September, and if you're successful, you'll start the Summer Institute the following summer. There's also a quiz on Frontline's website under the application process section, which you can take to see if the role is for you. You can also find out about the eligibility and the selection process on there. So like in terms of skills and abilities, people skills and relationship building is really, really important. You know, you need to be able to hold good professional relationships with families, so you can support them in the best way for them. Listening is essential, as well as having good observation skills. There is a lot of recording in this job, and so you want to be efficient with that. Keeping up to date is really, really important. Cases sometimes get transferred, and so ensuring that all the information is there is important. So I wouldn't really say that there's a normal day in social work, which is one of the reasons I really enjoy it. No 2 days the same. You know, it can be difficult to plan ahead sometimes because, you know, things can change, which can then change what sort of support you put in. And so being adaptable is quite important in that sense. I'm now going to stop talking because I've realised I've talked for quite a while. But yeah, please, if there's any questions or anything that you'd like to ask, you can reach me on Grace_Fitzgerald at SamwellChildren'sTrust.org. I hope that some of this has been informative. But yeah, thanks guys.
Hello, my name is Anna. 8 years ago, I graduated as a dentist. I originally come from Greece, and a year after graduating, I moved over to the UK. I currently work as a dentist at a mainstream NHS dental practice. My job is to look after the oral health of a wide variety of dental patients. What I enjoy about dentistry is the highly precise and technically challenging nature of it. Ultimately, giving back to the community and being able to meet new people on a daily basis is highly rewarding. After 5 years of dental school, I graduated and a year later moved to the UK. The reason I moved to the UK is because I wanted to experience a different culture and a different way of life. Initially, I worked at an NHS dental practice and then moved on into a hospital-based job in North Devon. I worked mostly with children and people with disabilities, which made the job very rewarding. 2 years later, I decided I needed to further upskill and decided to work for another hospital-based job with the oral and maxillofacial department. In order to study dentistry, you have to at least achieve 3 A's at A levels in order to be accepted at a university. Being a dentist means that you need to work on your communication skills. Being able to communicate effectively to patients from all different sort of backgrounds, different cultures, different ages, means that you are able to deliver the best care possible. Enjoying challenges and being good at problem solving is a good skill to have if you're thinking about becoming a dentist. Thinking on your feet and being able to rise to any challenge on a daily basis means that you are able to provide for your patients. Working in dentistry and having highly transferable skills has given me the opportunity to travel abroad and volunteer my skills to the less fortunate. Shortly after the Syrian war, I volunteered in Lebanon and looked after the oral health of Syrian refugees. Working in a healthcare profession can give you the opportunity to broaden your horizons and give you perspective about your daily struggles. I'm currently in the process of applying to become a specialist orthodontist. This is only one of the multiple career options that dentistry can offer post-qualification. Working in dentistry in a highly competitive, high-paced environment, you can lose focus on why you have chosen this profession in the first place. The reason most people choose this profession is because they want to provide care. What I would advise my younger self is to focus on providing care and less on the stresses of everyday life.
Hello, my name is David. There are many careers in healthcare which are based on science. My original qualification in chemistry has enabled me over a long career to work in several branches of science, including the science of healthcare. Whilst still a student, I worked for the Medical Research Council in one of their research units in the medical school in Birmingham University. The research concerned the biochemistry of mental disorders. At that time, the very idea that some mental disorders have a biochemical basis was new. It was good to work with very talented scientists from whom I could learn, as well as the opportunity to use first-class equipment available within the university and to contribute to publications in scientific journals. We used world-class chromatography and electrophoresis equipment and could, for example, detect biochemical differences between patients suffering from schizophrenia and the general population using these analytical techniques. Research can be frustrating, but also very exciting, especially when new scientific knowledge which can help people is discovered. After the Medical Research Council, I worked as a biochemist in Birmingham Children's Hospital. Blood analysis provides a great deal of information about the health of a patient and can assist with the diagnosis of many illnesses. We also analysed cerebrospinal fluid and many other specimens as requested by hospital doctors. Some of the children, including tiny babies, were desperately ill, and often results were required urgently. It was responsible work because our reports would be used by doctors to help them decide the treatment to be given to a child. The work was demanding but very rewarding, and it was a privilege to work as part of a team completely devoted to the welfare of children. Modern biochemistry is an amazing subject. Not easy, but truly amazing. Look it up on the National Careers Service website. You can find details of many careers in healthcare there. Later in my career, I served as chairperson of a group of technical experts set up to ensure the safety of certain chemical products used in the metals industry. Occupational health is concerned with the well-being of people at work. My experience has highlighted the contributions from scientists from different disciplines, for example, chemists, biochemists, physicists, and electronics experts working as a team with doctors to achieve advances in healthcare. I will leave you with a quotation from Rosalind Franklin, a scientist whose work was vital to the discovery of the secret of life, the molecular structure of DNA. She said, "Science and everyday life cannot and should not be separated." Dear students, I wish you happiness and fulfillment in your lives ahead. Look after each other.
Hi, hello. My name is Miss Arife, and I work for Public Health Wales. So, what does Public Health Wales do? Public Health Wales is the national public health agency for Wales. They protect and improve the health and well-being of the population, and they have lots of different divisions or departments, you could say, that work together to achieve this. So I am based in the Health Protection Division. My job role is as an epidemiologist. An epidemiologist is a scientist that basically studies the transmission of disease. It could be infectious diseases or non-infectious diseases, and we study the transmission of this disease in the population. So my specialty is in infectious diseases. And I was studying the transmission of STIs, so sexually transmitted infections, HIV, and tuberculosis. And that was before COVID. But now my main focus is on COVID. So what do I do? So I'm responsible for investigating, actually I should say not just me, there's a team of us. So our day-to-day job is to basically find out how many new COVID cases have been reported in the last 24 hours, how many people have died, how many people have been hospitalized, and how has that changed over the last 7 days or over the last week or over the last month. We also produce reports, we do research on the transmission of the disease in different population groups as well, and we also provide information on vaccinations, how many people are taking it, how many people are getting their first or second dose. So what do I enjoy about my job? I think my job in epidemiology is a lot like detective work. It's basically identifying the culprit, finding out how, so the culprit could be a bacteria, a virus. How is this virus or bacteria affecting the health of people? And what are we doing, what can be done to help improve people's health and stop the onward transmission of this infection. How did I get into it? So for my A levels, I did biology, physics, and chemistry. I enjoy science, so I decided to focus solely on that. So I did A level biology, physics, and chemistry. Then I did an undergraduate degree in biomedicine, because initially I thought, oh, I want to be a doctor. But then I realized actually I didn't want to be a doctor because I never wanted to be a GP. I never wanted to work in a hospital, and you kind of need to do some of that work. But I really enjoyed research and I really enjoyed studying infectious diseases. So I decided to go down the route of epidemiology. So after I did my biomedicine degree, I did a master's degree as well in the control of infectious diseases, and then after that I got my job. That is not the only way to get this sort of job. So another route is to finish your A levels and start off as an information officer, and then after gaining experience as an information officer, you would gain further experience as an information analyst. So you learn on the job, and then you become an information analyst specialist through learning on the job, and that is equivalent to an epidemiologist. So that is how I got into my role, and I really enjoy it. And hopefully some of you in the future will also be epidemiologists. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.
Thank you to Arife and to all of those incredible speakers for telling us about what it is like to work within this amazing sector. Now, if you have any further questions for the speakers that we've heard from so far today, please leave them in the live chat, which is next to the video player. The teams will get back to you as soon as possible. And if you would like to speak to someone in particular, please remember to click onto that @ button for them to get a direct message. Now, we'll be hearing from people who are studying to join this sector, starting with Ruth from Health Futures. Over to you, Ruth.
Hello, my name is Ruth Umera. I'm Principal of Health Futures UTC, which is a school for 14 to 19-year-olds based in West Bromwich. And students come to us because they want to go into careers in health and social care professions. So they come to us with very, very clear career pathways in mind. And during the time that they're with us, they obviously receive the guidance and support. What I will do in a few moments is show you some of the facilities that we have that actually support them along their pathways. I'm going to talk to you about the range of professions that our students go into and the different entry pathways that there are into those professions, because there isn't just one way in. And so we'll talk a little bit about the apprenticeship route and the degree entry route. So as we walk on through, we've got two mannequins here that actually represent two of the professions that our students are interested in. So the one on my right hand side here is actually a paediatric consultant, and the one on the left here is a paramedic. Okay, so as we walk on through here, This is just the entry to the UTC. And one of the things that we've got here that really supports our students in following those pathways is our clinical area. And in our clinical area, the students can actually carry out practical activities that give them the experience that they wouldn't otherwise have. So as we go through this way, one of the things that students will do as part of their health and social care curriculum, they will do role plays. And in this area here, one of the pathways that some of our students will follow is to go into an administrative role within the NHS. And so here we would have a receptionist, and this person has got to have very, very good knowledge of the sorts of conditions and concerns that people will have as they actually enter the clinic. As we go further through here, we have got a piece of kit here that our students will use to actually practice taking blood from a human's arm. And this is something that interests some of our students as a career in phlebotomy. Now, to become a phlebotomist, there are two pathways. You can study a degree in any sciences, including biomedical science, or you can actually follow an apprenticeship route. And I think something that's really, really important for young people to bear in mind is that there are routes in through apprenticeships that you could actually enter at 16, and you could follow a level 1 or a level 2 apprenticeship and then actually go on to a degree apprenticeship. But instead of being a full-time student, you would actually get paid, so you would be working whilst you are learning, and you would receive an income instead of being a full-time student. Now, I have to say that if I think about the pathways that our own students have followed, virtually all of our students who leave the sixth form will go to university and they will follow a pathway into health and social care. And the most popular pathway is into nursing. A lot of our students will go into general nursing, or they want to become children's nurses. We haven't had anybody here at this point who has followed an apprenticeship route. They have all gone onto university. And something that they have found that is really, really important in order to secure the places at the universities they want is to do some really good work experience. Now, in our current climate, obviously, we're still experiencing the global pandemic. That has been challenging. But something that we find is, because we have a lot of links with local employers and with NHS trusts, our students do get that opportunity. Now, students here are always told about the different pathways that are available, and somebody who does want to go into any type of nursing or any other type of allied health professional career, they can go in initially as a healthcare assistant, working in a hospital or at another healthcare provider, and follow a level 1 or a level 2 apprenticeship. And eventually, once they have completed a level 3 qualification, they could either choose to go full-time to university or to follow that pathway through an apprenticeship. Many of our students come here wanting to study medicine or dentistry, and what we also have here is our simulated hospital ward. Now, students who want to go into medicine have to go to university, and they have to study a medical degree. And as people know, you have to really, really get top grades in order to go into medicine. So you're looking at A's and A stars in A levels, and the most crucial A level that you have to do is one of the most difficult, and that is chemistry. Now, the thing that a lot of our students have found is, even when you are achieving those top grades, it doesn't necessarily automatically mean that you will get an offer. You've got to be able to say something. You've got to be able to tell a story that is a little bit different on that crucial personal statement. And I mentioned earlier work experience being crucial, but it's also being able to demonstrate through role plays when you're in that assessment period for medical school. It's really important to demonstrate that you have the right sort of values and the right sort of approach and the right sort of communication skills to become a really good medic. And so what we have here is a simulated ward where we have got patients, all of which are attached to a computer, and the students will be given role plays where, for example, they may have to diagnose a patient. The patient will be exhibiting particular symptoms, and actually they've got to treat that patient with a duty of care and really understand what that duty of care means in order to make sure that that patient is getting the very best treatment. So it's not just about having that academic knowledge, it's really about having that work experience and being able to demonstrate that you understand what healthcare values are and what a duty of care means, and being able to do that in a way that makes you stand out from other people. I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation paramedic science. We have been really fortunate at Health Futures because we have been able to work with paramedics who've come in and delivered some case studies and delivered some practical work to our students so that they get a really good understanding of what that job role actually means. Students generally go to study paramedic science here by going to university. A lot of our students will go to local universities, and then after that they will be able to apply for roles and be given additional training. There is a route in as well through an apprenticeship, and again our students haven't currently applied to go through that route, but it is something that is worth considering because you are learning on the job. So that's everything from me today. Hopefully that has been quite useful in terms of those additional things that you need in order to go into those health and social care professions. Thank you very much, and I hope you found that interesting.
Hi, my name's Ellie. I'm just on my way to work and I work in the haematology lab at Salford Royal. So when I was in school I always wanted to be a scientist. So when I left school and I had a baby and everything, I thought I need to do this. So I found the Prince's Trust course, and then I didn't even realise the amount of opportunities they actually had. When applying for an NHS job, it normally does tell you what qualifications you need, and some are more than GCSEs and some are just GCSEs. However, they look more towards experience in the job, and the Princess Trust course does offer the experience, which then means that you could get your foot in the door. It is a scary thing coming into a new job, and well, when I walked in it was a bit overwhelming. I could honestly say they were so supportive, everyone around me, and everyone's been in that position, so they all know how you feel, and everyone was just really welcoming. I definitely feel challenged in my jobs because some days I'm like, oh my God, what is this? It's amazing because the challenge makes you want to come to work and carry on. I find working for the NHS very inspiring as you're helping people who need it the most vulnerable people, poorly people, and it's just, for me, it does fill me with happiness because you know that you're making someone else's life better. So after a few years I will hopefully become a biomedical scientist.
And that's what we want to do?
Yeah, definitely. For me personally, this is my life with the NHS now. I don't plan on moving anywhere. I'm staying in this job and I'm going to prosper and it's going to become my life.
Hi everyone, my
my name is Emma Strang and I'm a paediatric student nurse at Kingston University. Today I want to talk about what it's like being a student nurse, what it involves, and the A-level subjects that you'll need in order to get into nursing. So I think there are a lot of misconceptions about student nurses. I think some people think it's impossible, some people think that the work-life balance isn't very good, and I just want to basically cancel these myths and talk about, it is difficult to be a student nurse, but as long as you've got time management on your side, that's the first thing. Time management is so important. A lot of the stuff we do, especially over Zoom at the moment, is self-study. And so whilst in other degrees it might be, oh, I can do that self-study later, it's not going to affect my next lecture too much. As a student nurse, if you're doing that self-study at a later date, you're probably missing on that information that you need when you go into what we call placement. So placement is hospital or community-based training where you turn your theory that you've learned in the classroom into practice. Now, it sounds very scary and you do feel at first like you're being thrown into the deep end. However, once you get going, usually the team are really, really lovely and they're there to support your learning. So what do I enjoy about being a student nurse? I just love the fact that I'm helping people, especially for me, it's obviously children. Just seeing the faces of those children when they do get better or you can make them smile, it's just all worth it. And there is a good teamwork environment. Yes, it can obviously get quite stressful, especially when the wards get busy or the community gets busy. But overall, the busyness definitely outweighs the kids that you make smile from treating them and making them feel better. So school subjects, most universities do like you to have a social science subject, so that would be psychology, sociology. They're not too, well, it depends. So if you're going for a higher university, a Russell Group university like King's College, they may prefer you to have a subject like biology. However, most universities, they just have a strong preference for a social science subject rather than an actual science subject. Grades wise, the highest universities are usually looking for between ABB, BBB to CCC for some universities for the normal BSc route. If you are looking to do a 4-year nursing degree, which has a foundation year at the beginning, most universities are looking for CCD. So to sum up, being a student nurse can be difficult. However, with the support that you get at university, the friends that you make, and the hospitals or community that you work in, it's definitely worthwhile and definitely a career worth investigating into.
I'm Hayley, I'm 21, I'm a senior carer and I work for Barchester Healthcare. Before my current job role, I was in the sixth form college. I heard about a job role in social care through a family friend. On a daily basis, I get my residents washed and dressed and help with activities. In my social life, I like to go shopping, go to the cinema and just spend time with friends. Working with residents on a daily basis has given me more confidence outside of work. Before I worked here, I wouldn't go shopping on my own, but now I have the confidence I will. Coming runner-up in Apprentice of the Year last year has boosted my confidence even more. My future ambitions in the social care industry are to work towards becoming a nurse. I would definitely recommend working in social care.
My name's Tom, I'm 23 years old and I work at the Wingfield Care Home, part of Barchester Group. I've worked in the social care sector for about 7 months now. I heard about my current social care role through a family friend who worked in maintenance for Barchester. My current role as maintenance assistant includes health and safety checks, fire alarm checks, maintaining all the equipment that the carers use, including hoists, lifts, stand aids, and also maintaining the decor of residents' bedrooms. My main hobby and interest outside of work includes music, where I play bass guitar in a band. The skills I've picked up at work have aided me in maintaining the electrical and mechanical equipment that I use in my social life, including my bass and my amplifier. I'd definitely recommend a career in social care if you're the sort of person who likes helping other people and would like an extremely rewarding job.
My name is Rebecca, I'm 20 years old, I'm a care assistant at the Wingfield Care Home, Barchester. I've been working in the social care sector for 3 years. Before working at my current job role, I was at school. My favourite part of my daily basis is helping the residents with their activities such as the fitness classes. It helps stimulate their mind and their body and gets them going. My hobbies outside of work include going to the gym and running. Working in the health and social care sector has given me the experience, the confidence and the mindset to progress in my career. My job role has given me more compassion towards elderly outside of work. My ambitions for the future are to become a mental health nurse. I would definitely recommend working in health and social care.
My name's Jamie, I'm 23 and I'm a general assistant at the Wingfield Care Home, Barchester. Before working in social care sector, I was a car valeter. I found out about the role that I'm doing now through the job centre. I've worked in the social care sector for roughly 4.5 years. I start work at 8 o'clock, I get the black box which contains breakfast, I take it up to the lodge, I have a laugh with the hostess that's on. I then collect the laundry to take it down to the main building, do the rubbish, and then I help out with the laundry staff. My hobbies outside of work are maintaining my car so I can bring it to track days and race around, playing the Xbox, and generally just keeping my car up together. To be honest, my job in social care has kept me on the straight and narrow and given me a direction to focus on. Once I've started my family, I'm going to concentrate on goals to become a maintenance manager. I would definitely recommend working social care as it's good fun and it's been very good to me.
So post 16, there are three main options. Try and think about your learning style and choose the one which suits you best. Firstly, there are A-levels, generally 3 subjects. All of those subjects will have exams though. There's vocational. These are more career focused, mostly coursework. Finally, there's apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are for those ready for work but still who want to continue to learn alongside employment.
For many health and social care related careers, you can study either A-levels or a vocational course such as health and social care or science. However, for some careers, you do need to study 3 A-levels before progressing on to university. These A-levels usually include chemistry, biology and maths. Physics may also be required for some careers such as medical physics. To study these A-levels, you will need to achieve at least 5 GCSEs, a minimum of 2 sciences at grade 6, double or triple science, and 3 subjects at grade 5 with maths studied at the higher tier. Retaking GCSE English as part of your programme is required if you do not have grade 4. A-levels are studied for 2 years and, similar to GCSEs, are assessed by exams at the end of the second year. Science A-levels also include some assessed practicals. For some careers, you need to study a particular course at university. For example, to become a doctor, you need to study medicine. Although most undergraduate courses are for 3 years, medicine and dentistry take 5 years. For medicine, you would need to have chemistry, and they would also like to see biology A-levels at grades A or A-star, and the same applies to dentistry. There are other A-levels where chemistry and biology are useful, such as pharmacy. You would need chemistry A-level, physiotherapy, biology. So do some research and get some advice from your school or careers at different colleges to find out exactly what you need. You can also look at university entry requirements. For some of these courses, universities will also look at your GCSE results, as well as your predicted grades for A-level. For example, medicine is a very competitive course, so universities expect applicants to be predicted A's or A stars at A-level, as well as 8s and 9s at GCSEs. If you really want to study medicine but haven't got these grades, some universities offer a foundation year, which you would study before beginning the medicine course. The minimum entry requirements for the University of Leicester's Foundation Medicine course are GCSEs at grade 5 and all Bs at A-level, again to include chemistry and biology.
Another route to enter a health and social care career is by choosing a vocational course. You can choose something like an applied science course or a health and social care course. These courses are more practical and more hands-on than, say, an A-level programme. There are still some exams, but you're assessed mainly through coursework. And the good thing about them is we've got different courses depending on what GCSE results you get. So to study a level 2 course, this takes 1 year and you need to achieve 4 GCSEs at grade 3 or above to include English language and maths and ideally science. To study a level 3 course, you'd need to achieve 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above to include English language and maths. A grade 4 in science would also be advantageous due to the anatomy exam as part of your study programme, and a level 3 course takes 2 years. If you do not achieve a grade 4 in your GCSE English and Maths, you will need to retake this as part of your college course, and then this will enable you to progress onto a level 3 course or an apprenticeship, and it will improve your future career paths. Applied science is ideal if you wish to pursue a career in nursing, midwifery, biomedical science, microbiology, clinical science, or many roles within the science or health sectors. For health and social care, there is a large element of work experience, so you will need to have a DBS check done before you can take part in your work experience in a health and social care setting. These qualifications will enable you to progress onto a variety of health professions at university. Some of them are nursing, midwifery, social work, radiology, speech and language therapy, to name just a few. There are some careers you can go straight into upon completing your level 3 health and social care course, such as being a healthcare assistant, adult or child support worker, phlebotomist, which has on-the-job training, another apprenticeship and on-the-job opportunities. It is important to remember there are a vast range of job opportunities within the NHS, so they're not just doctors and nurses and midwives, but there are also other really important medical jobs, maybe being a laboratory technician or other vital support roles, for instance being IT support. Step Into the NHS mentions 350 careers you can do within the NHS, and if you go onto the website www.stepintothenhs.nhs.uk, and they'll all be listed on there, so it's really important to have a good look and see the different job opportunities that are available for you.
Rewarding in the sense of you learn a lot If I was to say it's easy, I'd be lying, because you've got to put hard work in.
Studying here is really good. It allows you to go into many different medical sectors when you get older, and it's really fun. And most of the knowledge is quite common sense, really, a lot of simplicity.
There's a variety of topics. Mainly we do equality, diversity and rights. That's one that's extended from level 2 to level 3. We do infection prevention and control, which is new to me on level 3. We also do safeguarding, which is very important when you want to work in a health and social care setting, so it's very helpful.
We cover many topics in health and social. At the moment I'm studying safeguarding, where you look at how to safeguard and protect children and vulnerable adults in health and social care environments, and also doing human growth and development, where we look at the human growth of children and adults throughout their life.
We also have T-levels, or technical levels as they're known. These are new qualifications, almost a combination of A-levels and vocationals with a work placement. There will also be things such as skills and knowledge tests within them. Apprenticeships are a great option for those of you who want to work but also start earning whilst learning. It's not necessarily an easy option. You will need to find an apprenticeship first, but if you go to the government website you will find jobs listed.
Apprenticeships are an alternative to an academic qualification. It's for students that are more practically able and are also are more interested in going into the workplace rather than to full-time education. As an entry into a career in healthcare or healthcare science, it's a good opportunity. First, you'll be in employment. You can work in a wide range of areas. There is from pharmacy to healthcare science, where you're working in the laboratory in a hospital or a general practice, for healthcare in the care services, whether that's a nursing home or traditional nursing. So this gives you a first step onto that career pathway. It allows you then, it gives you a broad foundation experience and knowledge of the healthcare sector, and then an opportunity to progress down the particular avenue of healthcare or healthcare science that you're interested in. In terms of apprenticeships as a whole, they range from level 2 in healthcare all the way through level 4 to degree level, and it also allows entry onto practitioner training or more formal nurse or medical training through the NHS.
Health and Social Care is one of the biggest departments in Sandwell College. We offer courses from entry 3 to level 3 health and social care for our 16 to 18 provision, and for our adult provision we also run level 1s to our access course. The facilities that we offer for the students at Sandwell College is we have a simulation room in which it's a mock-up of a hospital. We also offer support with ILT. We have a lot of employer engagement and placements as well for our students. So in terms of our employer engagement, we work with the NHS around the West Midlands area. We also work with residential care homes, schools, nurseries. We've had students go to Shrewsbury Prison as part of the sociology and psychology units. We've also had visits to the hospital where they've done bespoke sessions for our students. In terms of when the students leave the college, majority of our students go on to university, so we do have a high level of students going on to HE courses. From that, some of the students then get careers in the NHS, so working in hospitals. They've gone on to residential care as well. They've also worked in schools. We've had students go to work in social work as well.
Hi, my name is Khadija. I'm 18 years old and then I am a student at Sandor College. I'm doing Health and Social Care Level 1. I chose Health and Social Care course because I like to work with other people and then I want to become a nurse. I recommend this course to other students because you get the opportunity to develop different type of skills. For example, you get the ability to communicate with other people, to interact with them and then work in different places. So, Health and Social Care course is a good course because if you want to become a midwife, nurse, or doctor, or if you want to work with children, you need to choose Health and Social Care course because it's the best course for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Messi Owusu. I'm 18 years old. I'm a Sandor College student. I chose Sandor College because it's a really good school. It's giving a lot of opportunities. My course is Health and Social Care. I chose Health and Social Care because, I don't know, since I was young, I always like stay with children, care of children, and love children. I don't even know how to explain. Yeah, and also Health and Social Care is giving a lot of opportunities. It's opening a lot of doors for you and for your future. Yeah, I really recommend this course because you can do everything that you like. Of course, from nurse to midwife to social care. Yeah, but also you need to have good skill. You need to have good communication. You need to have patience because in this course you have to work with the others. You have to care about others. A lot of things, but I hope you can do it.
Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you found this information useful. Please continue to join us for other health and social care sessions that are planned, as this will support you with your understanding of the different roles within this sector. Special thanks to all our speakers today also. We hope you enjoyed watching and remember to carry on doing your careers research. Good luck.
Thank you, Alison, for concluding today's session. And thank you to all of the incredible speakers that we have heard from so far today. And thank you as well to you guys for taking part in this event. If you have any questions for any of our speakers that we've heard from so far today, please leave them in the live chat, which is next to the video player. Once that has been sent, the experts will then answer your questions as soon as possible. We also have available below the video player a resource section, so if you have anything that you would like to review, please look there. Also, if you have missed any of our experts or would like to look back on any of the content today, then please look below the video player where there is the on-demand section and they will be available to you, your friends, your family 24/7, so please look to your leisure. Now that's all from the Black Country LEP so far, so please join us tomorrow at 9:30 as we'll be hearing from the Cheshire and Warrington based NHS, which is in partnership with the Cheshire and Warrington LEP, as they tell us about all the incredible roles that you could be taking on within the NHS. You won't want to miss it. So please remember to stay safe and stay connected.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.